base going over 4 billion TVL is extremely bullish for all the products we talk about here, whether it's Arrow or Morpho or Moonwell or any of the other DeFi products on base. Kind of a rising tide lifts all the ships. But you actually come into like what's actually driving the growth in TVL for Morpho, and it's definitely the really attractive yields that you can get on the platform. So what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Wagmi TV. Have a really awesome one today for you guys, especially you guys who are super into DeFi, super into yields, all of that stuff. We're going to be talking about an awesome new project called Morpho. Now, obviously, it's not a super new project, but the one main thing that has recently happened is the token that has been accruing basically airdrop points and all of this stuff for a long time for users of the platform is finally transferable. Now, this has happened in the last month or so. Base going over 4 billion TVL is extremely bullish for pretty much all the products we talk about here, whether it's Arrow or Morpho or Moonwell or any of the other DeFi products on base. Kind of a rising tide lifts all the ships. But you actually come into like what's actually driving the growth in TVL for more. So it's pretty new. We want to dive in, show you guys, how the token is doing. Personally, it's a project that we're super bullish on. It's a project in the base ecosystem, which you guys know we're super bullish on, and we think it has a lot of room to run here. So we're going to take you through the token and then look at kind of the growth of Morpho and check out some of the yield opportunities as well. So I'll pass it off to Mata to check out the charts here.
Yeah, let me pull up the chart. So fairly new token. We've been doing this, I feel like, a fair amount lately. Just a handful of weeks old. So this is the hourly chart that we're looking at here. Generally speaking, right, it has had quite an incredible run. Obviously, we're seeing it come back up here after a nice little pullback, come back up here towards that 276-ish level, which was that kind of local high that we had. Couple different areas that we're looking at here. From the bottom trend line perspective, we have kind of just continued up, right? We saw that big flush early in the week and that toward the end of last week, right, where we actually broke this slightly, but we actually never closed below it, which is it's generally a great sign that we're holding that uptrend. So this is an area that we are looking at currently as we continue to, make the assessment that this is in an uptrend. The other portion that actually just happened recently is this other yellow trend line moving downwards here. So this was the downwards portion of the longer upwards trend. We're seeing that even though it was coming down, we actually broke out above that, retested that line, which is a good sign to stay above that. Shows confidence that we're confirming above that. And we're seeing it move higher and higher here. And actually, in this last couple minutes, it's been moving pretty significantly. So that's the other thing that we're seeing here. So wouldn't be surprised if we go up, and we almost came close to it, actually testing this all-time high that we've seen very recently. So as we're looking at this as an asset, right, I think long-term DCAing into something like this could be really good, right? Obviously, it's a fairly new asset. We'll talk about all the bullish fundamentals. Short term, obviously, it's fairly extended. It's pretty much just gone up since it was launched. It's having a pretty big move here. So, from a short term, maybe you think about looking at potential pullbacks. But from the long term, obviously, if you want to just get into this project and continue to DCA into it over time, that's obviously something that would be a good shot for you. So, for example, right, if you were looking to buy this on some pullbacks, we could take some Fibonacci levels into account, right? So as we can see here, the 382 is actually right back at this breakout and right at the upward trend line that we're seeing as well, which is right around just below $2, right? So from a short-term perspective, that might be an area to continue to accumulate. So that's something that we're looking at, right? I mean, if we think about projects like this in the space, a lot of these types of projects are fairly oversold, right? So we're pretty bullish on this space. We're pretty bullish on base in general, right? I think like this coin, just like Aerodrome, you need to see the base network take off to really see a lot of the gains. But in a 2025 bull market, something like this could, easily do something like a 5 to 10x if it catches the right wins and it gets the right amount of TVL. But that's what I'm seeing from a chart perspective with the limited data we have, and we'll get into some of the fundamentals and some of the things that make this long-term bullish for the crypto space as well.
Yeah, it's a great rundown, Mata. And although this chart is pretty new, like you said, this protocol like Zoe said, has been around for a long time. So if we were to look at the TVL of Morpho on Ethereum, we're up in, I think, the 2.5 billion range. So yeah, it's right around the 13th largest protocol by TVL on Ethereum. But if we were to switch over to Base, which has just eclipsed 4 billion, so pretty exciting. We're seeing a lot of growth there. This is almost up to 400 million in TVL, and is actually the largest lending platform on Base. It recently moved past Moonwell, and also, really close behind it, Aave's growing as well. But we're seeing Morpho as that top lending platform, and with 1 month change of right around 53, 52%. So super exciting to see that much growth within the platform. And I think it's only going to grow further. We're starting to see a lot of new pools join the Morpho protocol. I think we see a couple CBBTC pools, a couple Arrow pools, a couple other assets that are super popular on Base. And so you want to talk through some of the fundamentals of the platform?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean the growth is awesome to see. I mean, base going over 4 billion TVL is extremely bullish for pretty much all the all the products we talk about here, whether it's Arrow or Morpho or Moonwell or any of the other DeFi products on base. Kind of a rising tide lifts all the ships. But you actually come into like what's actually driving the growth in TVL for Morpho, and it's definitely the really attractive yields that you can get on the platform. So let me just share my screen here and we can go through some of the opportunities here. Whether you want to earn yield on stable coins or you want to earn yield on Ethereum or Bitcoin or whatever. Really, all the majors they have great opportunities here. So, as a refresher, when you go to the earn tab on Morpho, right, you have all of these different vaults. And the key thing that kind of Morpho has here is the curator list. So Re7 Labs, Stakehouse, Block Analytica, Gauntlet, all of these players are basically trusted risk curators in the DeFi space. So, for somebody who doesn't really want to pay attention day to day on like, okay, what are the best pools to lend to, what are the best interest rates to optimize, all of that stuff. The really cool thing is that you basically have these trusted curators that are doing that for you if you deposit into their vault. And you can go through and you can see all these different vaults that are available. And just right off the bat, right, the top few: EUSD, EURC, bunch of USDC ones, and then you get into the Ethereum ones. But like the stablecoin ones right now are going absolutely crazy, right? Like the top one, EUSD, curated by Re7 Labs, is doing almost 27%. All these USDC pools, EURC, all like in the 20% range. So that alone is already pretty much like 5 to 6x the risk-free rate in your high yield savings account, right? So this is absolutely doing incredible right now. We're big fans of that. You come down to some of the Ethereum ones also, you're getting close to 10% on ETH, which is awesome. Re7, Gauntlet, and then Block Analytica, some of these wrapped ETH pools also really, really solid in terms of if you're farming stables or ETH. So that's something to look out for. This is really going to drive, as we saw with Aerodrome, the higher yields drives more TVL, it drives more growth for the protocol, drives higher token price. And so that's really what we're kind of expecting here out of Morpho. We'll obviously, keep you guys posted as things are going along. But yeah, that's kind of a rundown of the protocol. Do you guys have anything to add before we kind of wrap it up?
I think the only other thing is just how transparent they are about the collateral within each vault. Like, you're able to really see what you're putting your money into, and I think that's a really nice feature they have to help grow the platform.
100%. And if you guys are interested in Morpho, if you're invested there, if you're farming there, definitely make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below. Let us know what pools you're in, what vaults you're in. If you're doing any sort of looping strategies or anything like that, definitely shoot us a comment, and we're happy to dive into it even more. The one other thing I will say is I was surprised at how many centralized exchange listings that this token has. And if you look at other base ecosystem tokens, right, you had Arrow, that got listed on Coinbase. You had Moonwell that got listed on Coinbase, right? And now you have Morpho, which is not yet listed on Coinbase. And if you kind of like put two and two together, I would not be surprised if this eventually gets a Coinbase listing. So obviously, none of this is financial advice. Make sure to do your own research. But that's kind of what we're seeing right now. As always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and we'll see you next time on Wagmi TV.